Let's just recap what's been going on in the past 60 minutes. The Turkish president's speech about the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. The journalist died inside Saudi Arabia's Istanbul consulate 3 weeks ago today. President Erdogan addressing his ruling party about the murder for about 30 minutes. Now, here are the main key points. He declared it was premeditated murder that was planned days in advance, which also included reconnaissance missions by the kill team to the forests around Istanbul. Mr. Erdogan also posed several questions to Saudi Arabia, including why it had constantly changed its story about what happened, where are Khashoggi's remains, and exactly who was involved. He added that Turkey doesn't doubt the credibility of King Salman, but is demanding a full, independent investigation and that the trial of the accused be held in Turkey. Mr. Erdogan also asked that everyone involved in the killing from top to bottom be held accountable. He also said accusing some security operatives is not sufficient. Let's bring in Saudi dissident Mohammad al-Massari, who's in London for us. Mr. al-Massari, was that the speech from Mr. Erdogan that you wanted to hear?
No, that's not what I wanted to hear, but I'm not shocked or surprised because Erdogan is the master of surprises. So it sounded like a state of the international relation speech, which is befitting for the parliament. I was asking myself on the way here will he mention the videos and even show them in the parliament? That's not like Erdogan, not like a head of state. That will be maybe referred back to the public prosecutor, who may come just in a few hours or days and presenting these things. But people did not read between the lines. First of all, the fact that they supervising what the Saudis and other diplomats are doing about the scouting of the area of certain parks around Istanbul, meaning we know what your diplomats are doing in normal times. Maybe they did not make any sense of this scouting, the question mark, it kept on file until that is transpired, then they connected that to the case and concluded correctly with certainty that there's a premeditated planned murder. That's number one. Secondly, he said to King Salman, which many people did not read properly, I don't trust, he said, I trust the custodian to King Salman, not mentioning anybody else, that he trusts him. Sending him a message, I trust you, I'm still trusting you until now. And then he mentioned you should act according, and he mentioned the Islamic Sharia. Now, the Islamic Sharia, many people do not know. In Islamic Sharia, there's no immunity for president or kings or anybody, not even for the Prophet himself. Everyone must be tried, can be tried and prosecuted for whatever action he does. And this is not by necessity, it's not from Islamic Sharia by necessity. So telling him, essentially giving him a signal, if your son is involved, done according to Islamic Sharia. You have to dispose him and put him on trial, some way or another. So he's giving, essentially, using the leverage he has in his hand to give Salman an opportunity to correct the story now, which they have keeping lying. And to put further pressure, he is asking about the body. The body is irrelevant because the murder is admitted by all relevant parties. There's no need for a body in that case. Most likely, the body has been cut in pieces and possibly taken and disposed maybe through the airplane on the way, except the head and the fingers who are supposed to be with Mohammed bin Salman. But if they come with that, that will be showing the brutal nature of the whole action and make even Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, even more condemned. So he's really, I think people are looking in the wrong angle to the coming of the CIA chief. This woman is a trusted person, trusted one of Trump. He trusts her and also the foreign minister because these are his men. The institution itself, the CIA, is opposed to her and opposed to him for the time being. So he sent her. The sending her, what Erdogan did not say, he said that he contacted Trump on the 25th something of October. He didn't mention the contact the second day in which he sent these videos and these recordings. They are there, I assure you that, from the highest places in Erdogan office. And Trump is lying and continuously lying. So she is there to cover
Mr.
up.
al-Massari, I'm going to interrupt you there because if we're getting into the territory, just let me hit the pause button for a second. I don't think there's anything to be gained here if we get into the territory of you saying Donald Trump is lying and you saying either the State Department or the CIA has the audio tapes, has the videotapes. That's very specifically and very clearly your claim. So I'm just going to let that sit there, but we do have to signal that for our viewers. Let's just back up a little bit. You were talking about three main takeaway points from Mr. Erdogan's speech. Just let me get to the third point. Just let me get to the third point, please. He wants 18 people extradited to Turkey from Saudi Arabia. You're talking about under the auspices of Sharia law. I get the point, of course I do. But the reality is those 18 people are never going to be extradited, are they?
He knows that. That's just putting pressure on King Salman to do the right thing and get a dispose of his son, change his politics, lift the sanction on Qatar, end the war in Yemen, change the whole politics, stop prosecuting the Muslim Brotherhood. That's the price for your son. Or you sacrifice possibly the kingdom and bring an instability in the kingdom. That's the message. And he has all the leverage to... Anyway, the leverage about Trump is very clear. You have followed how the lira is recovering nicely since the second or third day of the incident. It's recovering very nicely. And Trump is not talking about anything negative about Turkey. He's trying to appease Turkey and tap them on the shoulder to get away with what he's done. In the middle of that, I know your comment about that. So Haspel is just to cover up and fix something, especially for Kushner and Trump, possibly. No pressure about that. And he can tell her clearly, let Mohammed, let the king of Saudi Arabia fix his situation in such a way that we all gain. Trump is not exposed. Mohammed bin Salman is finished. Sanction, siege of Qatar is off. War in Yemen is settled somehow, and they stop interfering and supporting the Kurdish rebels in North Syria. That's the price he has. It's a huge price. It's worth this gamble. But it will go on. The facts will be exposed, and the videos will be leaked sooner or later. There's no escape from that. Okay. So I think what he did was anticlimax, yes, because we expected to see videos and so on. We were like expecting the new Star Wars movie. But the reality is that what we're getting is we see how an enormous leverage Erdogan has in his hand, and he should use it.
Some people were surprised.
But the fact is clear. The man is murdered. Saudi Arabia is behind that. It's premeditated murder.
Okay.
That's what we need.
Understood.
This is the naked truth.
In the run-up to what we've heard from Mr. Erdogan in the past, 90 minutes now, some people were surprised that he was apparently politicizing it in a broad regional sense by delivering this speech to the party faithful, as opposed to getting his message out either via the internal criminal investigation or just to the Parliament building. You've already hinted at this, though. He clearly knows, he's a clever guy, he clearly knows, surely, that there are big tectonic plates at work here. There's the question over Saudi Arabia's attitude towards the Arab Spring. When that kicked off, we know that this is an established fact, that Riyadh is worried about the prospect of that kind of dissent on the street. And on top of that, you've mentioned it already, the GCC crisis, the blockade of Qatar. There are massive forces at play here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Erdogan is telling him indirectly, these massive forces will dispose of you. You can, if you go towards maybe a constitutional monarchy, go to some compromises with the general public, end the support for the military regime in Egypt, and correct the mistake which your previous king committed by cooperating and financing the disposal of Mohammad Morsi, that may change the situation. But you are finished. The situation is, the reality is finishing. The regime is finished if it doesn't do the right thing. And my expectation, it will not do the right thing, and it will be soon. We have infight between the princes, and Ahmed bin Abdulaziz in London is standby, and the American deep state is standby for Mohammed bin Naif, and things will move quite ugly if Salman does not move to save at least a nominal monarchy for him and his family.
Mohammad al-Massari, thank you very much.